Howdy everybody, welcome back to the Cast Gaming Channel. James here once again, and I've got another Napoleonic Total War 3 mod replay for you guys today. But before we go ahead and get into that, I just want to remind everybody I am sponsoring a Napoleonic Total War 3 mod tournament. It will be a 4 versus 4 tournament with a first prize of $100, and I'd also like to interview the winning team. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and send something to my email address, which is TheCastGamingChannel@gmail.com, or head to my Discord, which the link to is in the description box below, along with my email address. So today's replay was sent in by OPSEC, and he submitted that through the Discord. I am very grateful for you doing so. So let's go ahead and get into today's match. It's going to be a 4 versus 4. And for the coalition today, we have Prussia, a 9-pointer Prussia, followed by another 9-pointer Prussia, 18 to 13, an 1815 army, and Brunswick as army number 3, followed by the United Kingdom Peninsular Army as coalition faction number 4. So for the Imperials today, we have France, España as the first Imperial army, followed by Westphalia as army number 2, Napoli as army number 3, and Rheinbund as army number 4. So today's map is France 7. It's essentially a mirrored map, although not 100%. There is a river that runs through the entire center section of the map, followed by some hills on both sides of the map and in the center, on both the Imperial starting position and the Coalition starting position. The only difference today is that the Imperials have a different starting point, as they have an army that starts in the center section. All of the other armies start at the very rear of the map. So what's going to be vital today, as if you haven't guessed, is taking the hills, taking the high grounds on the center position, and whoever is attacking is going to be at a disadvantage. The Imperials do have a possibility to go ahead and take the hills, maybe fight for this house, and try and hold the ground as, or have the armies come and support it. The other option for either faction, since this map is pretty much mirrored, is that on the sides of the map there are these flat areas, maybe with some hills that might provide you from some cover from artillery from the hills, that you could potentially outflank your opponent. So this is an option if you do not want to attack the straight center positions or the higher elevations throughout the map. We'll go to the other side here just to show you. This area is flat as well. There's some forest here you can walk your men through, or at least to the side of you, to protect them against flanking fire. So if I was the Imperial Guard today, I might actually, well, there's two things you can do. You can, as I mentioned earlier, you can charge forward, try to take this house position, although you're quickly going to be cut off and you're going to be facing a couple factions straight away. The other possibility is actually just shift your entire army to the left side, and then that way you're just going to be taking on potentially Brunswick. You're going to take some high ground from Brunswick away from them, or you can get around the lines behind and maybe catch your enemy out of position. You can sit here and wait as well for your armies to come up. Unfortunately, I don't recommend just sitting here waiting for your reinforcements, because the coalition could easily take this high ground, set up their artillery, and then start firing into your flanks. You could potentially pick this other side, this right side as well, if you wanted to maneuver, but I think this left side makes a little bit more sense if you're going to. Also, it's a factor of where you're where the strongest armies are versus the weakest. So Rheinbund is if Rheinbund comes on your left, both France and Rheinbund should go hit the left, while Westphalia and Napoli take the right side. engage Prussia in a limited fashion. Meanwhile, you can defeat Brunswick since it's only a 6-pointer faction, or if the United Kingdom comes up, you can try and defeat them as well. Since you'll have your 10-pointer army and your 9-pointer Rhinebund faction, if I can find him here. There he is. Come up on your left, defeating essentially a 16-point total of 2 armies on this far left side. If you choose to engage Prussia, well, it's 2 9-pointers, so it might have a little bit more difficult time engaging them. So that's just kind of my overview for the coalition. Since Imperials start out so close, take the hill, take this farmhouse right here. It's a great defensive position. If you can move up quickly, you could potentially defeat France España, surround it really quickly, maybe have a 4 versus 1 and defeat that army, or maybe a 2v1. Anyway, have it outnumbered. Try and threaten it, get it taken care of before reinforcements can arrive. You might as well also just go for an all-out push if all of your supporting armies can come up together, as it may take a bit of time for these armies to trickle up to the front, and that way France will never be in a position where it has a superior numbers against you. The other factor is that since there is this river that runs through the middle of the map, the Imperials will have to cross it if they choose to engage and attack, which means that they'll suffer more time underneath your artillery fire, more time under musket fire, so on and so forth. Cav charges will be harder to get to you. So it is a potential option. It just depends on how aggressive you want to be, what type of army compositions you have, etc. All right, so with that tactical overview of this map out of the way, I'll speed this up so we can get into the action here. We've got some Brunswick Cav chasing off some French España Cav already. We've got some more Prussian Cav pushing up against the center against French España. Might be able to catch these guys running away from the back. Since they are heavy Cav, they're going to move much slower than this Uhlani unit. Probably be able to hit them in the back. Just need to be careful you don't overextend yourself, guys. Might be a good idea for France to actually just turn around, engage this, use these dragoons. Careful, France, you don't shoot your own Cav units while they're charging or retreating back. And this Prussian unit's already routed, probably returned. It only lost about a third or a quarter of the men. Prussia is continuing to engage here in the center. If you can, Prussia, you should flank España on the side. There he goes. Excellent positioning. We've got some more coalition Cav joining this front. I don't think France is going to be able to hold. It's getting some reinforcements from this side. Probably be able to take on this Brunswick Cav. Just needs to be careful. It doesn't overextend itself and get wrapped up by some supporting Cav. Oh, it looks like some United Kingdom Cav and some more Brunswick Cav came over. Tried to go for the flank of the France's left side. We got some more routing, some more charging in Cav. Just at this point, move your Cav behind your infantry. Push up your infantry so that the Cav has less room to maneuver. At this point, since you've lost a couple units of Cav, España, I would just keep your Cav in reserve. Try and force Prussia to hit your squares, and then support your squares with the cavalry. You've got Napoli coming up on this left side. It's good to see that this Westphalian Cav came in support of its ally. This might be a good map to have some horse artillery on. to support against these cav units all coming at you. But it looks like the coalition is choosing to take the high ground, which is always a smart move here. See what's going on, if we can see anything. So it looks like some Napoli cav was entered in on the left side of the fight. Ended up routing pretty darn quickly, unfortunately. France is just kind of sitting here. We've got some more cav charges on this right side from Prussia coming in. And this is a mistake. These dragoons got caught up in the river. I would not have gone for this counter charge here. This is a mistake. You're going to get your units caught up here and be able to outflank potentially, or have some more cav reinforcements come against this unit. Be careful you don't take excess fire from this square formation. And you see this is even with the support of this square unit, this unit ended up routing. He might get it back. It's still above half strength. But I think this was an unnecessary waste of men right here. You've got some more cav pushing up from Rheinbund here against this potentially weaker force, but they're getting some more reinforcements over. UK is going to be able to come up and get some infantry or artillery on this hill. It's going to be bad news for this cavalry. Prussia still threatening the right flank of Hispania. While the Allies come up, looks like these some howitzers. Not a bad positioning of the howitzers. They're going to be well defended against cav because of the river and the forest and the armies in front of it. I don't know if it's going to have the reach necessarily against this infantry or cav units. I think they're a bit too far away. Rheinbund's pushing on the left side to try and push back Brunswick cav along with the UK. Be careful, guys. There's a lot of cav right here. There's only 4 units that I see. There is a general unit, and if you only have 4 units, I don't think this is going to be enough against all this cav. UK cav is pretty good, so just be careful. So we've got some running units here in the back. I don't know what's going on. He's running his artillery. That's not good. So Prussia's coming up. Prussia will be able to come up to France's right side here. I don't know where Napoli's approaching. I can hear some infantry units moving up, but I'm not sure where his supporting units are going to be. Prussia will be able to probably take on Napoli, no problem, if Napoli forms on the right side. Instead, I think, let's see, Westphalia should come up and support and delay Prussia's crossing along with Napoli. And then you could have the France-Hispania come up. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out where everybody is here. I was trying to figure out where Rheinbund was. There we go. Rheinbund has his cavalry here, but I was going to suggest earlier that Rheinbund and France come up on this left side and then try and take on Brunswick and the United Kingdom. Careful, guys. You're in the skirmisher range. Be careful. There is a gap right here, which you could charge some cavalry into. Maybe take out these skirmishers. And both units, or both armies, factions, I should say, are just maneuvering, trying to get their men in position. Just be careful on this right side, Napoli. There's a lot of Prussian infantry here. There's another Prussian army coming up. I don't think you're going to be able to hold 2 of them, even with the help of France. Got Westphalia coming up. So here's another option. Keep Napoli on this right side for the Imperials. Do your best to just fall back against Prussia. Have France hold the center. Fall back if it takes too much heat. Have Westphalia come up, engage the United Kingdom, and then have Rheinbund take its infantry and come up and outflank the United Kingdom on this side. Try to outflank the other side of the army, just as Prussia seems like it's trying to do to the Imperials. However, because Brunswick has layered its infantry like this, and because Prussia on this side has double layered its infantry like this, it's not going to be able to extend its right flank to the extent that the Imperials can. And I think that's going to be very helpful. Avoid a massive cav battle on this side if you're the Imperials right now. Let your infantry come up in support. It's going to have to push back. The cav is going to have to be extra careful for the coalition that they don't overextend themselves. And this is a mistake. This is a big mistake Rheinbund is making against this coalition cav. He might be able to rout a couple units, but he's going to get sandwiched by the United Kingdom and Brunswick coming up to reinforce his cavalry. So he's able to rout one Prussian unit. UK is going for another charge on this section. I think this Chevalier unit might rout from this UK charge. There it goes. UK lost a cavalry unit itself, but Brunswick's going to outflank him. Even with his general unit here, it's not going to be enough. His general unit's going to be threatened by this Brunswick cav. Rheinbund is retreating on the side. He's getting overwhelmed by too much cavalry. UK is coming after this Rheinbund general, and it got him. And this is what I was just telling you about. He overextended himself, overcommitted. Yeah, he caught some units out of position, but it cost him way too much. Meanwhile, he got countercharged in another area. He wasn't paying attention. It was just a wasted charge on that side. We've got some more stuff popping off on this right side. Prussia is coming after some French cav. This Napoli unit is able to form square. He needs to get these units into the fight against these Dragoon units, since Napoli can shoot these units in the back. He's just getting his cav wasted at this point by retreating it. And he's going to lose this cav unit unnecessarily. He could have pinned these Prussian units in place, have Napoli fire in the back, at least gotten some more casualties on Prussia. Now he's lost his cav. This howitzer unit is threatened by this Prussian cav. Westphalia is not in line, needs to retreat, form a line against the United Kingdom. Fall back, form a line, get Rheinbund's units over here on the left side if it has any infantry. Do not fight the United Kingdom like this. I'm not sure he's not forming these in longer lines. It does not make any sense to me. Prussian going to wrap up some Westphalian charge. There's no infantry here to support this Westphalian cav, and it's going to rout. Now, I might have thrown that in to save this howitzer, which is not a bad move. However, Prussia can still cross this river. It's got... Oh, no. Oh, no. All this artillery is threatened. You need to get some cav over here right now. Prussia's coming after you. It's coming after this artillery in the center. These howitzer units are gone now. Oh, all the artillery is just getting destroyed by Prussian units getting into the back. There's some heavy cav coming in to charge against this Dragoon unit from Prussia. Good job protecting your artillery, Westphalia. Good job protecting your ally. He might actually be able to rout this unit since it's very tired. Even though it's a faster unit, it's just too exhausted, and it's going to rout. Well done. We got some line battles happening here in this on this left side. Need to get your units in better position. Finally, Rheinbund is coming up. Push your infantry units up as quickly as possible. You've got a great opportunity here to outflank the United Kingdom. I'm not sure what France is doing on this side. He's very disorganized at the moment. Don't engage. Do not engage these Prussian armies. Don't really need to engage Brunswick at the moment. See here. Got some excellent flanking fire on these Prussian units. Well done, Napoli, retreating. Prussia's getting in position. Napoli's, for a little while, is going to have the local superiority on these Prussian units. He could always push these units up really quick to get into the flank of Prussia on this side. Some artillery coming up overhead. And Prussia is just, the might of Prussia has just got so many units. I don't like this positioning of the artillery. You need to fall this back if you can. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like you can. France is about to get outflanked on this side. Needs to be very careful. He is doing an okay job. Prussia's getting its units, just getting free shots on its units for some reason. This Napoli cannon's going to rout. Needs to be careful. These this light cav ended up routing. Could have gone into the skirmisher unit. Left a gap there. The UK's actually fallen a little bit too far back. I know they want to extend their lines because Rheinbund is coming up. However, there is this kind of gap here in the line which Westphalia could exploit against Brunswick. Well done. I'd like to see people taking advantage of these types of opportunities. Some beautiful volleys. Prussia's doing a good job shifting over its units. It needs to be more aggressive. Needs to threaten France Hispania on the side. I don't know if there's more units in the center here or if we just can't see them right now. Good job on Prussia on trying to extend the flank of Napoli. Napoli doing a good job in response, folding back its flank. France doing a good job. Does not want to engage Prussia too quickly. Westphalia still has an opportunity to engage the United Kingdom or help support and come around. Rheinbund needs to continuously push up these units on its far left side. Don't get these units into the fight as well. Looks like there's a UK cav charge against this Rheinbund artillery piece. Wasn't enough to rout it. Napoli continuing to fall back. It's important to keep your army intact, Napoli, to give your guys on the left side time to wrap up the infantry. Now, this is a mistake. Westphalia, I think you're pushing back a little bit too far. I know France has to come back because it doesn't want to face the full might of the Prussian army. But you had an opportunity to get some shots on an inferior force. Brunswick is coming up. Could have gotten in the line, get some shots off on Brunswick before you fell back. The other thing you could do, Westphalia, is take these units, take a few of these units, come over to the left flank, support Rheinbund's push here. This is not good, Rheinbund. You need to be pushing up the squareable infantry unit. You need to be pushing up whatever infantry units you can. Take these line units, put them into the line, and then take these grenadier units, shift them over to the left side. You could have one form square, charge them into the United Kingdom. Or you could take on some of the weaker lines here in the middle of the United Kingdom. Napoli is not going to fare very long. Needs to continue to retreat. Continue folding back your army on this side, Napoli. There's too many Prussian units here for you to attack. There's too many men per unit. Need to fall back. And if I was the Imperials right now, I'd just be folding back all of my armies. Get yourselves on the hill on the other side. And if you're not going to be aggressive on this left flank, the better option is to fall back to the high ground on the other side. Force your enemy to attack you. Have them be attacked underneath artillery fire. Have them come across this river. Get them while they're coming across this river with your artillery fire. You're getting outflanked here. You're getting enveloped, Napoli. You're folding on this side. You got to retreat, guys. Unfortunately, this looks like this artillery got charged again or routed somehow. And this is why I don't like artillery on the lines. If your armies are falling back, you need to fall back your artillery as well. I think the artillery is going to be the main thing that's going to win it for the Imperials. Imperials Cav is getting charged here by Prussia. Caught some sleeping Rheinbund Cav. Now it's going. You're overextending yourself here, Rheinbund. The rest of your armies are folding back. This is too much aggressiveness. You need to fold back, get some cover. The UK is just going to continue to retreat. They're going to continue to have the high ground, and you're going to continue to be threatened in the flank and rear by this coalition Cav. If anything, now that UK is falling back, you need to pressure Rheinbund's flank at this point. Let's check across the way here. If I was France, I'd fall back. I don't think I'd continue the engagement against Prussia. Napoli, nice volley there. Napoli is in a heck of a lot of trouble. They need to just continue to fall back against Prussia. Prussia's going in for a bayonet charge in the center. Let's see if they're going to go along the line with it. Beautiful charge, Prussia. Just destroying the lines of Napoli. And now France is threatened now that Napoli is folding. Westphalia is having to retreat. Rheinbund is being threatened to be cut off here from its allies. This is what I mentioned before, overextending yourself. Just was not a good idea. See where the lines are at the moment. Nice. Organized lines along the coalition. It's just time to fall back altogether if you're the Imperials. There's just way too much infantry here to fight. And it's going to be difficult to fall back to the high ground because they've got this cav. Coalition has a bunch of cav on the high ground. Looks like there's an infantry unit. Might have been caught out of square here. Or maybe they're just all charging this Prussian cav right here. Time to fall back your infantry as well, Westphalia. Looks like an infantry unit got caught out by some cav. Rheinbund's retreating now. Hopefully he won't get cut off. Careful, we got some more cav coming in the back of Rheinbund. Turn your units around, guys. It's not looking good for the Imperials. Prussia's continuing to push up, folding and forcing the Imperials to bend back, reorganize, retreat. And now Prussia's able to push up in the center. Some coalition cav threatening the back of the Imperial line here. It's into it. It's able to respond in kind, forming square at least. Gonna push back this cav unit at least for now. Oh, Westphalia, you need to come back across. Come back across. Westphalia is Rheinbund is completely disorganized with its units. It's just getting, this mob of units are getting fired on without any retaliation from the United Kingdom. They're just getting free shots against them. Completely disorganized. Fall back, guys. It's cav on the hill. Westphalia disorganized. It's lost most of its units. And now the only one that'll probably remain is going to be France here. However, they are charged by Prussia on this flank. Prussia's charging in some more units against France. France is folding on this side. France is going in for some counter charges. He knows he can't last very long. Needs to do something. And he's getting back charged by Brunswick. This is probably going to be the end of the Imperials here. And at the end here, this Rheinbund player looks like he might have dropped now that the situation's become untenable. So the coalition did a good job massing all of its forces, hitting the flanks of the Imperials where it needed to, falling back on the other side when it was getting outflanked. It did a great job of winning the cav battles, getting around the flank of its enemy, taking out the artillery pieces, using its stronger factions to fight the weaker factions. Just an all-around great job from the coalition today, taking advantage of opportunities, where its opponent was not paying attention. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the end here. All right, well done to everybody. Good game. As I mentioned before, today's replay was sent in through the Discord by OPSEC. So let's go ahead and get into the stats here for you. Mr. Cookie was playing as Brunswick with 745 kills. The first Prussian Corps was commanded by Ave Dominus Nox, who had 527 kills. Nosy was playing as the United Kingdom with 1,370 kills, and the second Prussian army was commanded by OPSEC, who had 1,666 kills. For the Imperials today, Difficult K9 was playing as France España with 903 kills, and for Westphalia, Master of Powder Reigns had a total of 486 kills. Napoli was commanded by Theo, who had 404 kills. And finally, Rheinbund was commanded by Emperor 9956 with 181 kills. Go down the kill list here for you. 167 kills for this Ulanen unit. It's a light cav unit from Prussia. Had the most amount of kills here. Just go down the list. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Don't forget to sign up for the tournament, and I will catch you guys on the next one.